Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 14th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. The day went, I would say, swimmingly, at least, all things considered. Kind of assessing the damage a little bit more at the job. It looks like things are going to be a little bit wonky for like maybe a week plus. So that'll be fun. A little bit more busy, a little bit of spice in my life. So that's great. But no, overall today was fine. It was good. Let's see here. Food corner. It was a little weird because last night I got done, with podcasting. I took my little walk and everything. And by the time I sat my ass back down, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm in a cooking mood right now. So I just skipped dinner. Not my best decision, but these things happen. So let's see. I did wind up eating though earlier today. I had a little sandwich at work. The weird colored bread. It was like the one I've talked about before with like the orange bread and the tomatoes and I think it's like chicken or turkey or something like that. Yeah. So it was good. It was yummy. It was fine. It's funny. I liked that sandwich more the first time I had it than it was like the second time. It was almost like the novelty had kind of gone out of it. So hopefully I don't waste it. Like that's the thing too. It's like a $6 sandwich. It's a big sandwich, but yeah, definitely not as stoked to eat it this time. But all the same, it was all right. I'm living. I'm doing okay. Let's see here. Is there really anything else in the personal news sphere that I need to yap about? No, I think you're good. I think you're all caught up on the me shit. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do our startup. Let's get right. Oh, I will say this. Another thing I want to add. I got a good nap in. I got a good nap in today. That was worth it because I was just so tired. I didn't sleep well last night. No surprises, and I just like came home and I was so tired that I'm like, look, I'm faced with one of two options. Either we drink a night monster or we take a nap. Or maybe both, but like we got to do something here because we are getting cranky, we are getting tired. It's not gonna work. So luckily I was able to get a nap in. I feel very rested, rejuvenated, and it's really nice. It feels good. So yeah, let me go ahead and do my startup. It just feels so risky taking a nap on a weekday. Like I have work in the morning. What about my sleep schedule? And then you just realize how messed up your sleep schedule is, and you say whatever. I don't care. Ooh wee. I will plug a candy I've been eating. Actually, I know I keep preambling. I've been eating like little handfuls of hot tamales. I love hot tamales. They're so good. Um, anyway, let's get into some news. Sorry. From the Associated Press. Notorious people smuggler wanted in Europe arrested in northern Iraq. One of Europe's most notorious human smugglers was arrested Monday in the semi autonomous Kurdish region of northern Iraq, security officials said. The regional government security agency said it had arrested Barzan Majeed, known as the Scorpion, in the area of Suleimania upon a request from Interpol and after the exchange of intelligence information. He was handed over to the Regional Justice Department, it said. The UK's National Crime Agency announced Majeed's arrest on X social media platform. The crime agency had issued an appeal for assistance in tracking Majeed down in 2022 after he was convicted in absentia in Belgium of people smuggling crimes following a joint UK Belgian investigation. The agency said he had attempted to smuggle 100 migrants to the UK in small boats and trucks. I think I heard in like this interview thing in the BBC where they had like some investigative journalists or some shit and they had tracked him down. and were able to sit down and like get an interview with this guy. And they'd asked him like, how many people do you think you smuggled? And I think he was like kind of very offhand about it, like, I don't know, like thousands of people. So yeah, I mean, for the UK, this is like a big get. We've covered a lot of situations of illegal migration, you know, to UK. That's an area that a lot of people, kind of choose to go to, in efforts to find a good place to get work and, be able to get settled and, be able to send that money back home or do what they need to do. But yeah, last month the UK Parliament approved controversial legislation allowing the government to deport to Rwanda those who entered the country legally. Hours later, 5 people, including a 7-year-old girl, died while crossing the English Channel in an overloaded inflatable boat. So yeah, I mean, I kind of want to close this out a little bit. I know I'm being a little bit abrupt here, but it is about over. But as much as I understand why, hey, these guys are the bad guys. Like so many people die in the human trafficking, people smuggling, whatever words you're supposed to be using right now, business, and it's a very dreadful, terrible profession. Okay, I get that. But at the end of the day, these are people who are so desperate that they will take any option to get from this bad situation that they're in to a better opportunity somewhere else. And I've said this before, I'll keep saying it. I just feel like so many countries can just change and open up their borders more and just be more accepting of other people instead of being like, well, you guys aren't like us, so we're going to try to go through so much bureaucratic red tape to keep you out, even if it means you might die, like we just want to keep the riffraff out. Really, we're sorry. And they come up with so many other reasons and, blah, blah, blah to like justify it. But at the end of the day, like, you're just locking up people and, once again, putting people on planes and sending them to other countries where they're not going to be better off. All because, once again, you just don't like to see people that don't look like you, I guess. So, yeah, I get it. I understand how the world turns. But this, to me, is just like the same thing as, like, when law enforcement puts a bunch of drugs and shit on the table, like, look at this bowl we got. Look, yeah, we really got it, man. Justice won today. Woo. Like, I mean, Rishi Sunak can, like, flap his ears all he wants and be happy about this kind of shit, but it doesn't change the status quo at hand. It's not changing anything. Like, you still have this problem because you're not really fixing any of the solution. You're not actually fixing anything, You're not actually getting to a real solution. What I'm trying to say here. So yeah, that's the thing that happened. Figured we'd talk about the Scorpion. Also, what a cool name. You love when someone gets a name like the Scorpion or like the Scorpion Gang. Like, oh hell yeah! Like, I mean, that's fucked up. You're probably ne'er-do-wells, but like, I mean, cool name. That's great branding. Anyway, let's move on to another thing. From what is this? The Guardian? Yes, it's the Guardian. Yacht sinks after latest incident involving orcas in the Strait of Gibraltar. And, I got a burp maybe. An unknown number of orcas have sunk a yacht after ramming it in Moroccan waters in the Strait of Gibraltar, Spain's Maritime Rescue Service has said. In the latest in a series of similar incidents involving the animals. The vessel, Alborian Cognac, okay, that's a very nice, stuffy little name, which measured 15 meters and 49 feet, or 15 meters or 49 feet, I'm sorry, in length and carried 2 people, encountered the highly social apex predators, also known as killer whales, at 9 a.m. local time on Sunday. The passengers reported feeling sudden blows to the hull and rudder before the boat started taking on water. After alerting the rescue services, a nearby oil tanker took them on board and transported them to Gibraltar. The yacht was left adrift and eventually sank. So yeah, I mean, this is an escalation here. We've talked about Gladys before. Let's see, experts believed them to involve a subpopulation of about 15 individuals given the designation Gladys. I believe that was maybe the pod mother or something that kind of taught them their little tricks, and that's kind of where they scientists and stuff started noticing this behavior of killer whales like ramming rudders aggressively and not like in an accidental kind of way. Like it seemed like there was something like this was calculated. And if you've ever seen killer whales like operate, there's like a very cruel, almost yet joyful, playful energy to it, and that kind of makes it very confusing here because we don't know exactly what is provoking the whales to do this. Like, are they actually trying to take out these ships? It seems, now it's kind of like almost confirmation of that to me. But like, it could just be that they're really irritated by the rudders, and that's why they're hitting the rudders. It could just be them playing around, and they just want to have a good time, and they're just like, we don't know what this unidentified thing is, so let's fuck with it. Hey, to me, this is their waters at the end of the day. This is, these are Mother Nature's little creatures, little pets, little stewards of the water. And if they don't want us out there, then they don't fucking want us out there. Maybe you should take your fancy little schooner boat or whatever the fuck it is, your little yacht, and not take it out there. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I'm fucking with them. I love it. I love our little eco-terrorists. I'm sorry. I am on Team Gladys. I cannot tell a lie here. But yeah, I mean, the jury's still out on exactly what is the cause. Like I said, I mean, I've given my 2 cents on what it is. I think they really don't want to see boats in the water like this. It's like it's their territory, and it's like, you guys either look threatening or you're annoying. We don't like the cut of your jib. Get the fuck out of here. And I respect that energy. It's like, yeah, not in my goddamn swamp, not in my waters. So yeah. We'll say that's good there. We'll call it covered there. Moving on, a little bit of a technology faux pas happening here. I don't know. This was something that was a little bit of it made me laugh. Maybe it shouldn't, but we can get into it. From the Insider, a live stream video portal connecting Dublin and New York was meant to bring the cities together. Instead, it's devolved into chaos. Hey, okay, let's talk about it. A large circular portal opened up on May 8th in Dublin and New York City. It's part of a public art installation, and city officials across each side of the Atlantic hoped it would be a way to bring people together. The two-way live stream lets passersby peek into the corresponding city and interact with those 3,000 miles away. But days later, it was temporarily closed for technical changes to be made, as people began acting inappropriately, as people are wont to do. Videos circulating on social media have shown people flashing their naked body parts, showing pornographic videos, and mocking 9/11. I mean, be surprised that people are gonna bring up a 9/11 joke. Rings collar. Let's see here. On opening day, people were encouraged to interact with the sculpture and extend an Irish welcome and kindness to cities all over the world. The Lord Mayor of Dublin, Daithí de Rosti, said in a press statement, videos of people waving to each other on either side of the portal were shared widely on social media, with one TikTok gaining over 20 million views. Some use the installation to share positive moments. So a lot of people, meeting each other, like, oh, wow, this is so cool. This is so neat. I think there was even a successful marriage proposal done across it. So that's cool. It's neat that people made an event of it. But, sadly, as things are wont to do when, you have a thing in like a public area, a number of drunken Dubliners were seen standing in front of the portal pretending to take cocaine, holding up their phones to show pornographic videos, and showing photos of the Twin Towers on 9/11, per Irish radio station RTE Radio 1. People just can't help it, man. Like, what about the two towers? Like, they just can't help it. Shit, we even make fun of 9/11, and we're like, I know, like, we experienced it. We were there. I remember where I was. It is what it is, man. That to me doesn't bother me too much. Obviously, though, the thing that's very fucked up is that, like, hey, a kid could be walking by on either side of this fucking live stream, and that could be bad, right? There's also another incident that I heard before I got to this article. OnlyFans creator Ava Louise said that she got the portal shut down in New York after flashing her breasts to the screen. I thought the people of Dublin deserved to see my 2 New York homegrown potatoes, Louise said in a TikTok video. I kind of think promotion like that is very annoying, but like, hey, whatever. That's for another episode. Do your thing, get your bag, whatever. Is New York even known for potatoes? I've never, whatever. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could have said, like, I could totally told you this was a bad idea, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I'm sure it seemed innocent enough, you know, in your head, on paper. Yeah, it would be cool if they bring it back. I don't know. What my suggestion might be is, like, put it in a different place. Like, it shouldn't be maybe so public. It should be like something that is like more of a controlled environment, where it's like, hey, like, if you're in this building, like, or some shit, you're not gonna want to act up and like show your junk or whatever, you know what I mean? Also, faking cocaine, that's so whack. I was kind of surprised that, like, the first thing I heard was like, it was the Irish, it was the, it was the Dubliners that was fucking up. I would have totally assumed it was New York that was gonna pull the first thing, like, someone's gonna like jerk off on the fucking portal or something. That was my first thought. That was where it was gonna get to. But hey, we tried to show some class until, the boobas. But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully no kids saw, I don't know. But yeah, that happened. We tried. Society tried something, and something happened. All right, we have one more thing I wanted to cover. It's an update. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our last break, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Okay. Last story comes from Baller Alert, and to me that is very like a sad anticlimactic place to have your story have an end. I'm sure this will inevitably get covered by some major news outlet sooner or later. But this is something we've covered before. It's essentially just a sentencing of what is it? Barbara Furlow Smiles, but former DEI leader sentenced for multi-million-dollar fraud at Facebook and Nike. And that is diversity, equality, and inclusion. Once a prominent figure in corporate diversity initiatives at Facebook and Nike, Smiles has been handed a 63-month prison sentence for siphoning off more than $5 million from these companies. The sentencing took place on Monday, leaving former DEI leader with a hefty price to pay for her criminal crimes. Or criminal actions, I'm sorry. That was very redundant if they said criminal crimes. The judge, Stephen Grimberg, also mandated that Furlow Smiles repay the stolen amounts in full, totaling $5,102,838.08. During her emotional address to the court, she expressed the gravity of her situation, declaring it the fight of her life. The sentencing also comes after Furlow Smiles admitted her guilt in December, acknowledging the sophisticated fraud scheme she orchestrated. Starting in 2017 at Facebook, she abused her access to corporate finances to support a lavish lifestyle across California and Georgia, indulging in luxuries from spending portraits to preschool tuition. Which is crazy. Like, you gotta splurge on that nice, child education. Which, I mean, that is a flex, especially in America. You got your kid in a nice preschool, like, okay, nice little daycare situation. They learning and growing, ain't they? But yeah, despite her defense arguing the pressures of being a primary provider in an expensive New York City pushed her to these extremes, the prosecution highlighted the ongoing and calculated nature of her fraud, which did not cease even after her move to Nike. Here, she continued her deceitful practices, stealing over $121,000. So yeah, I mean, kind of just an end of a chapter. I don't think we're really going to be hearing any more here. But let's see. As part of her sentencing, Furlough Smiles is granted time to receive medical treatment and spend the summer with her family before her incarceration begins. She remains under supervision until she reports to prison on July of 2022, starting her path towards restitution and rehabilitation. So you know what? I'm kind of actually happy, and this is kind of fucked up to maybe say, but to see a person of color getting the full white collar treatment for a change, you know what? Give it to the justice system for that. For once, it's like, yeah, your crimes are big enough. You can take your little break, honey. It's fine. Well, you can do your little medical stuff. Get your little P's and Q's in order. And hey, maybe she'll be like the one, Elizabeth, the person who made Theranos or whatever, her name, Elizabeth Holmes or something, right? Like her shit's just getting reduced and reduced and reduced. Her sentence, you know what I mean? They're treating her like a good old Martha Stewart. Like that shit was so bad. You ripped off so many people. The blood thing was not even real. It didn't even work. But hey, so like, hey, Smiles is really in good company, the big leagues, if you will. She really burned you to Madoff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, obviously it's fucked up. It's a shame that people do these kind of schemes and scams, no matter what. But like, I think the thing that was more annoying to me is that like these kind of stories got used to be like, see, this is why DEI is so fucked up. Like, it's like, bro, can you just dog whistle that you're racist? You just say the N-word. Like, I just wish people would do that instead. It's just very annoying to like have this other kind of discourse because you're using some example that's not an example. It's just an outlier. Like, yeah, a person did some scheming, some scamming. Like, yeah, there's grifters among us. Oh, wow. I'm glad you caught them, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, that's it. That's really all we have for today. Thanks so much for, showing up, listening all the way to the end. That's pretty cool. You really ate the chicken down to the bone, daddy-o. But yeah, if you'd like to take things a step further, support financially, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. And then hopefully subscribing to the YouTube, keeping up with the Joneses that way. If you're not listening on YouTube, I am, whatever you're listening on, obviously I'm there. I'll be there tomorrow. So hit that button and leave a nice review, max out the stars, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.